it's Brittany again. As you can tell, I am not by myself today. I have a very, very special guest before. And you guys actually already know who this is, although some of you, unless you're on Instagram, perhaps have not seen him before. This is my birthday twin, who I've been stitching all of the Pokemon for. We were born on the same day of the same year. He's a little older than I am.
Just a little.
His name is Tommy. And there is a very important reason why he is guest starring on my video today.
Why is that?
Tommy has picked up cross-stitching. He is starting on the very slippery slope into the deep dark hole that we have all crawled into / fallen into. That is the world of cross-stitching. And the reason he finally has started cross-stitching is because we're both doing this show. Mm-hmm. We're doing a production of Peter Pan. I'm Toodles, a lost boy, and he is
Smee.
Smee, Captain Hook's sidekick, if you're unaware of the character names. But we have a lot of time off, and
there's not a lot to do here.
No, we're in a town that is pretty small, and it has been cold. We're in the northern Midwest, and it's been a little cold. Not as cold as last year. He was here last year, and it was freezing.
It was awful.
But we were at Hobby Lobby because, of course, I'm out of the city now, and there's a Joann's, Michael's, and a Hobby Lobby all within 10 minutes of each other.
Dreams come true.
10 minutes. And so every time I go to one of them, I have to go to all of them. And I dragged him along with me, and we were in Hobby Lobby, actually. And Hobby Lobby generally has a really great, almost a whole wall, at least I've seen, of kits and cross-stitch supplies. So he was looking at them while I was browsing, and I was like, Tommy, if you get one of those, I can teach you how to stitch. And so he said...
I said, okay, why not?
Yeah.
I'll give it a try.
So I'm so excited to say that he has started stitching, and do you like it?
I do like it.
Is it nice? What do you like about it?
I like, my favorite part is when I start stitching and then I can see the progress happening, like, in front of me. I've been doing a lot. You told me how to do the half stitch to start doing like the outlines of things, and it's made things go a whole lot faster.
Yes.
And so it's a lot more enjoyable to see something come to life faster.
Yeah. Yeah. So I thought I would have him on my Flosstube channel to show off his projects, and his very first project, unfortunately, we don't have here. But I'm going to put in a picture right now.
Look at that.
As you can tell, it's a little fox.
It's a little fox.
Tell us about this little fox.
Well, it's just a pattern that I saw that I was picking out through a couple of them. They had those small kits that I was like, well, maybe if I try something small first, I'll, get into it and it'll be a little bit easier. And so I picked the fox, and I was really excited, and then I started doing it, and there were all kinds of quarter stitches, which I had no idea about, and I was like, what is going on here? And the fabric was so small.
Yeah, it was very small count. It had to be 18 or smaller. I haven't taken a ruler to it. But.
So I was it was a little frustrating at parts, but I think that it ended up okay.
Yeah.
And I stuck with it because I feel like I would have liked it if it was something like bigger and the fabric was a little more usable. And
how long did that take you? It just took 2 weeks or something, right?
Yeah.
A week or two.
A week and a half.
It was like a week or two. And he had his very first FFO. That means a fully finished object.
Oh.
As if it's framed or made into a pillow or something. It's fully finished.
That beautiful little
little plastic frame. Easy.
It's hanging in the theater right now. That's why it's not here.
Yes, it's hanging up at his dressing station.
Yes.
So he finished that one, and we went to, surprise, surprise, Hobby Lobby again, and he was looking through some. He hadn't finished his fox at this point.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, do you like any of these ones? What do you think? And there was an owl there that he liked.
Very colorful owl.
I had just bought that owl, like, a few weeks before. And so I surprised him one day at the theater, and I put that owl and a little hoop at his dressing station. And so he started that. And believe it or not,
It's finished.
Exactly. It's been only a month, but he already has 2 finished objects. Why don't you show off your owl?
Okay, so here's the owl. Should I get it closer?
Yeah.
Here we go. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with how he turned out, and it went pretty fast. I mean, I've got a lot of time backstage that I feel like I have more time backstage than you do. So I'm frantically stitching during songs and listening for my cue, and all the other guys are like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "I'm making something."
Yeah, you are. You're not just sitting around on your phone.
Yeah.
And this is on 14 count, so it's been a lot easier, right?
It's been so much easier.
Yeah.
And a lot more enjoyable, too.
And no fractional stitches.
No fractional stitches. I'll get there someday.
Yeah.
I'll get to liking them someday.
And the colors are so nice on this one. That's why I had picked it out originally, because it looked like an easy one to do, like, between bigger projects. But I gave it to my birthday twin here.
Yes, and I appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm so amazed he's picked it up so quick, and he's working away and finishing things. Well, you have another project that you started.
I do.
Right?
I have another project that
Do you have the pattern on your phone?
I do have the pattern on my phone.
Well, it's a free pattern, so it's going to be okay if he shows it to you. Birdie stitching. Birdie stitches. She has a Tumblr, has a lot of free video game patterns, Pokemon, etc., etc.
Which is the direction I want to move in.
Yeah,
so
I mean, obviously, since I was stitching him Pokemon, he's a big Pokemon fan.
So here is the pattern.
Who is that, Tommy?
This is a black mage from the Final Fantasy game series. This sprite is from the original game. And I just really like it. If I play video games, I usually pick the wizard character. So I was like, I think this will be a nice new project that's more like me. You know, it speaks to me more. And so. And
here's the reason why he kind of picked this one is because I have some really exciting news. And I'm going to go into this later in the video when I go through a very gigantic and long section of haul. Slash stashquisitions. We went to both of our very first local needlework store. It was in Madison, Wisconsin. I just said where we were. It's okay. We're in Wisconsin.
You'll never find us.
Anyway, it was near Madison, Wisconsin / in Madison, Wisconsin. And it was so wonderful. They had tubs and tubs of hand-dyed fabric and just normal fabric. And I looked through, and I found some really fun stuff that I'll show you a little later. But Tommy saw this fabric in the Ada, and he said, I know the perfect pattern for this, which ended up being his mage. So why don't you show them what you've got so far?
Should I leave this on here?
Yeah, you can leave them on there.
Okay, so this is my mage so far on this really cool, like, fiery fabric, which I thought was cool because this little guy casts fire spells, and so I thought it would be fitting for him to be on this, like, flame-looking fabric. So, and that's my needle minder.
Today is Monday, and you started that on Saturday, right?
I did.
So he's going pretty fast.
So
We've got a pretty quick stitcher here. But yeah, let's talk about those needle minders. So I, of course, am always seeing new needle minders on Julie's page, Nifty Needle Nannies. She's the best. I love her. And who did I see that I was like, oh, I have to order that? It might have been Poison Ivy. Right, yeah. I saw somebody and I was like, oh my gosh, I really want that. So I said, Tommy, because he had started stitching at this point, was borrowing one of my needle minders. I said, why don't you / are you interested in getting your first needle minder? And he's like, yeah, let's look through. Yeah. So we looked through the hundreds. The hundreds of needle minders that Julie has on her page. And this is the one he picked.
I picked this unicorn. He's on a cloud. Yep. And he's pooping a rainbow.
He sure is. He looks really happy to be pooping that rainbow.
He's got his toilet paper ready, though. So
yeah, that's good. He's not having to stress out about calling his sister or something to come and fetch him some TP. Yep. I know I've seen, is it Julicious and Kate, maybe, that both have that needle minder. So you're not alone.
Oh, good.
There is some pooping unicorn brethren out there.
I just thought it was pretty funny.
No, it is funny. And then Julie, being the wonderful person she is, said, well, since Tommy is a new co-customer, have him pick out one of the little ones. And so from the beginning when we were looking through, Tommy saw this guy, and it just so happened that he could pick him out.
He's a little blowfish.
A little pink blowfish.
Little pink blowfish.
Yeah.
There he is.
And I'm trying to think, is there anything else we should mention? You have another project to go after this, or a couple that you would like to do. Tell us about those.
So in the game, in the Final Fantasy game, your party consists of 4 different characters that you can choose from. And so I think that what I'm going to do is Birdie Stitcher has 3 other patterns that go along with this one. So I think I'm going to put them all together and see how that goes.
Yeah. I think that would be fun. Yeah. And hoping to find a really cool hand-dyed for each of those characters. And you already bought fabric and floss for one more. What is that?
Oh, yeah, the Dragonair. And it's another Pokemon.
Yeah. And it's a really cool serpenty dragon Pokemon with kind of wing ears and jewels. And you got kind of a light blue cloudy sky kind of looking one for it, right?
Yeah.
Very elegant looking. Dragonair.
Yep.
And as we said, all of these patterns are free. You can find them on Birdie Stitches. I'll put the link in the description. Hopefully I'll remember. And you can, if you're a video game fan, I definitely recommend looking her stuff up, because I know she has Final Fantasy stuff, Zelda stuff, a lot of Pokemon, and I'm sure more. I know a couple Disney characters probably from video games and
Kingdom Hearts.
That kind of thing. So, is there anything else you want to share with the Stitchers of the world?
I don't think so. It's I'll be joining them now.
Yeah. And we'll see how far he slides into the hole. If he ends up making his own channel, I'll let you guys know. It could happen. Who knows? I'm sure he'll guest star on here again if he doesn't. We live together in New York.
We do.
And so he'll be around. He's leaving for the summer, leaving me. It's fine.
Sorry.
And
there'll be lots of stitching out there.
I was going to say, he'll make lots of progress, but I won't be with him to make the video with him.
I'll be calling you all he saying,
yeah,
how did I do this?
I'll be happy to share. Yeah. Maybe we'll tackle even weave before then, so he has his parameters can broaden there. But yeah, well, I'll say so long to Tommy here, because I have
she's got a lot to say.
Might be 40 minutes. We'll see, of stuff that I need to tell you guys and talk to you guys about, because it's been so long since I made a video. We opened our show February 27th, and before then, about the beginning of February, until then, 25th we opened. We had rehearsal all day, every day, and I am understudying Peter and Wendy, so I've been very busy. And
you don't have a lot going on right now.
It's been hard to find the time to make the video, and I'll tell you a little later, there were certain progress points I wanted to make before I showed my work to you guys this time. So it's been a while. I have a lot to share, and I'm going to get started with that, and I'll let him go so he doesn't have to sit through it all. So we'll say bye.
Bye.
So first I'm going to share with you a few finishes that I had this month, and if you have been watching Instagram, you'll have seen 2 of them. One of them is pretty darn exciting, if you ask me. And I'll go ahead and start with that one first. As many of you subscribers and longtime viewers know, I started in January of last year the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery's Storytime Sampler Stitch Along, and I finally finished it. I was stitching on this project as a kind of to-go stitch during rehearsals and during the show when I'm not on stage, so I've been able to get some good time devoted to it, and I finally finished it. And I have it right here. Now I did make a few changes to this. Right away you'll probably notice that I changed the text at the very top of the project. From the beginning I wasn't a fan of the Storytime Classics text. So instead mine says, "Read me a story." This is the very last thing that I stitched because I was not sure what I wanted to do with it. And of course you have Alice, Mary Lennox from Secret Garden. There's Sherlock Holmes. I put a violin in there, which you can see. There's Dorothy and Toto for Wizard of Oz. Oh, what's her name? Shoot. I don't remember her name. From Charlotte's Web, the girl. Fern, maybe? Anyway, and Wilbur and Charlotte, of course. And Peter Pan, I made quite a few changes, changing Peter's hair to red, and I put in a little crocodile instead of the mermaid. Of course, Lady of Shalott, Phantom of the Opera, it's one of my favorites, and Black Beauty, Anne of Green Gables, which of course is another one of my favorites. I loved stitching that one, it's so darn cute. Little Women, there's Jo March in her garret, writing away, and of course A Christmas Carol, Scrooge, who I think has never looked more adorable. So I finished it, and now that it's finished I have absolutely no idea what I'm going to do with it. You know, my sister got married last fall, so maybe if they end up having the child anytime soon I'll finish it to maybe put in their nursery or something. I'm not sure yet. It's not really something that I would hang necessarily in my room. So, but I'm feeling very accomplished. That other than Emerald Mermaid is my oldest WIP, so it's very exciting to have that done, and it is very gratifying to be able to cross that off my list. Another finish that I have, this will look familiar to you guys who are in the cross stitch community because a lot of people are doing this pattern, but I finished Mary Mouse. There she is, and she actually was almost finished about a month ago. However, I had forgotten to put in the backstitch color for the leaves and for her mouth, and it took me a month to finally sit down and finish her up. So now she's finished. So I have, of course, Katie Kitty, Peter Polar Bear, and Mary Mouse. And I was going to show this to you in starts, but I'll show it to you now since I'm here. This is going to be Duncan Dog. As you can see, I'm not too far along with him yet. I just have the snow and his bone and the number 4 ready there. But now that Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery is done, and I'm pretty close to finishing another project during the show that I stitch on during the show, so hopefully this WIP will take over kind of that position. I do have one more finish. I don't have a picture of it because it was my secret stitcher gift for a wonderful Flosstuber, and perhaps she will show it off, but I did want to put in a picture here. As you can see, it is, I think, a pretty adorable little owl who has a cross-stitched chest and can be used as a pincushion. I wanted to do something extra special for my secret stitcher, so along with the actual cross-stitch patterns and floss and beads or whatever that I sent her, I also sent this owl. A man at my theater who's in the show has called him Captain Owl America. So that's as good a name as any. I'm considering making some more of these and putting them up in my Etsy store. We'll see. I think they're pretty cute, and they don't take, actually, I mean, the cross-stitch chest does take some time, but the rest of it doesn't take as much time as, per se, the turtles do. So we'll see. I'm going to think about it. I suppose I can move on to WIPs. I have a new start and another WIP that I have made some progress on. I'll go ahead and talk about the new start first. There's a woman at the theater who asked me to do a cross-stitch project for her, and she really likes the phrase live, love, and laugh. So I've done a interpretation of that, and she showed me a picture of a version of it that she liked, and so I sort of transferred it into cross-stitch. This is where I'm at right now. So as you can see, right now it says live, love, and H. But laugh is going to come along here. And it's only going to be 5 by 7. I'm stitching this on 18 count white Aida. And I do think that I will be putting this one in my Etsy store. So if you like it, keep an eye out for it. Because when I'm done stitching, I think I'm going to try and make that into a PDF so I can put it in my store. I think it's turning out really nice. The colors actually are all looking pretty nice together, and I like the effect of the negative space for the letters. Another actor in the show kind of looked at it and said, I like that it's kind of controlled chaos with all of the kind of splatter effect behind the letters. So I've only been working on this one maybe for quite possibly not even a week, so I'm hoping to be done with this one, so I can give it to who it's supposed to get to before we leave, and 2, so I can get back to work on some of my other projects. And lastly, oh, hold on one second. Lastly, I have an update on Queen of Cats. Before I started this Live, Love, Laugh pattern, I was having a pattern I worked on at the theater, and I had a pattern that I worked on at home. And the one I worked on while I was not at the theater was my Queen of Cats, which, if you're unaware of who that is, that's my leopard pattern from Jane Netley Mayhew's Cross Stitch Safari. And this is what she's going to look like when she's finished. I think she's just beautiful. And this was the project that I was like, oh, I really don't want to make a video until I get this certain part done. So I am so pleased to show you that I have gotten all of the leopard on the first page I started on finished. And I finished her ear. That was the part that I wanted to get done before I showed this to you guys. And about under the ear here and down this way is completely filled in. I have a whole bunch of grasses to do behind her neck here. And as I mentioned before, I think I'm going to work down and around and do the face last to keep the project exciting. But it's looking really, really neat. I know Jessie Marie has talked about her elephants and how much she loves her elephants, and Carolyn did her giraffes that were designed by Jane Netley Mayhew, and each of them have said what a pleasure and how great it is working with all of the colors and seeing the project develop. And I have to say the exact same thing. I don't know what it is about this project, but I enjoy stitching on it. It's like not too confetti heavy that it's frustrating. Like generally, at least in this pattern, you can connect the color pretty consistently without carrying or having to restart your thread. And it's just looking really cool so far. Finishing that ear was really exciting. So, unfortunately, that's about all of the stitching that I've gotten done, which, you know, it's not too shabby. I finished up a project that I have been working on for over a year now, and got some good progress on my leopard done, and I'm almost finished with another smaller piece, but an original pattern, so I think I've done pretty well. As I mentioned before, when I was with Tommy, I am in a city that has all of the craft stores within it's 20 minutes from me, but once you get there, they're all so close together. So the first weekend I was here, I went from one to the next, and I may have bought a lot of stuff, but it's okay. I'm not around those stores often when I am living at home in New York, so I'm letting myself do it. I guess it's already purchased, so I did. But I'll go through some of that now, and I got some really fun kits that I'm excited to show you. The first one is a Riolis kit that I got from Hobby Lobby. It's this really gorgeous fox. I saw those orange colors, and I just thought they were so neat. And I love the way that it's the orange and reds on top of kind of the black and white gray background. And I bought that one. I used a coupon on it, and it's stitched on gray fabric with a kind of fuzzy yarn, thread, a fuzzy fiber, which should be interesting. I've never done a Riolis kit, so I'm excited to give that a start sometime soon. So that was one kit that I purchased. This was another one. that I think I may have used a coupon on too as well, but from Joann's. And it is one of, I was going to guess this is Joan Elliott, but I don't know. I just know she's done all the geishas. This one's called Flute Player, though. And I don't see an artist on it. It might say on the pattern inside. But I thought she was beautiful. And I have a friend who likes kind of oriental geisha ladies, so I thought she would be fun to stitch. I've never stitched anything similar to that, so now I have it. I think this one was another Joann's purchase, and it's a kit that I had on my wish list in Amazon, and this one is called Splashdown Horses. My sister really likes horses, and I've been thinking of getting a horse pattern to stitch for her, and I saw this and thought, oh, that one's really nice. And Jessie's hanging out back here because when I started, I thought she would make a good needleminder for the horses. So those were the kits that I purchased. I have a couple of books that I want to show you. I'm not going to go through them, don't worry, but I wanted to share what I had purchased. The first one is this I Love Cross Stitch Dragons and Unicorn book. And I know that Katie, the Stash Queen, has gone through these, so I won't do that. But I like the Crescent Dragon. I like the green dragon that's in here. The Dragon of the Clouds is cool. The Phoenix pattern is really cool. A lot of fun fantasy things in here. So maybe someday I'll get to them. And another book that I got at a used bookstore in Nashville when I was going through there to visit my parents before coming out here is I got this one, which is 365 tiny cross-stitch designs. This one is really neat because it has little designs for each day of the year, and a few of them are able to be combined into samplers. For example, they have a quilt block of the month right here, which is cute. I really like this one. It's the zodiac signs. It's a cute Capricorn there. I'm always, of course, on the lookout for Capricorn because that's my sign. It has a sampler and wreath of the month. You can see they're just little mini samplers in that one. And then those are wreaths. And then a teapot of the month. This one for March, which is this leprechaun cat, makes me giggle a little bit. And I like this pheasant one down here is pretty too. And then it has a birthstone fairy of the month. I think making this for a little girl on her birthday would be adorable. They're pretty cute. And then the other ones are just random assorted things, like, for example, in October they have a lot of Halloween-y stuff. In December they have a lot of Christmas stuff. Well, I thought it was a lot of Halloween-y stuff, but it's not that much. Just so each day they just have a little tiny pattern. Just as an example, I'll show you the January ones. Just little patterns. And I thought for ornaments they would be kind of fun. And I really liked those zodiac tiny stitches, so that was the reason why I wanted to get that one. And then this one was, I'm not sure that I'll stitch anything in here, but it's more of a symbolic buy. I went to Goodwill and saw this American Sampler Quilt Designs and Cross Stitch book. It came out the year I was born, so that's the reason why I got it. And I like quilts. There's an alphabet quilt sampler there, which is nice. And then one of the other ones that I kind of like this. I don't know how I feel. It doesn't have a very good picture of it, but it's these 3 ladies sailing in a ship with quilts as the sails. I kind of like that. And then the other one that I really kind of thought, well, perhaps I'll stitch that, because it came out the year I was born. So there's a little girl here. with a quilt looking out into the stars. And I thought she's kind of cute. She almost has red hair, and if that's not red, then I could easily change it to red. I might change the color of her dress too, because I never wear pink. Though I did when I was little, so who knows. I don't know if I'll stitch any of that, but it's fun to have because it came out the same year I did. Okay, so this is the exciting part of my haul, and it is what I got from the Stitchy store, the L&S that I went to in Madison. And I know I've said in previous videos, the one thing in my stash that I wish I could have more of are the hand-dyed fabrics, or the fancy fabrics. And let me tell you, I may have gone a little crazy. All of the big cuts, all the specific cuts I got of fabric are for specific projects. But I got a lot of pre-cut fabric, and I don't know that I'll show all of them to you. They're varying sizes. I'll show you the fabric that I have plans for. This one is really pretty, so I want to show it to you. It's called Ametrine. This doesn't actually have the brand on there, so I'm not sure who dyed it. But it's a really pretty... You can see kind of the shades in here. It's purple and green and brown a little bit. That's a good size piece. I'm not sure what I'll stitch on there yet, but I saw it. It's 40 count, so I could maybe even do a smaller Nor Corbett on there, because it would turn out pretty small. It's really pretty. And I bought it. I did. I just did. It's fine. I was very impressed, actually, because I've heard, oh, my LNS is so much more expensive than buying something online. But a lot of these pieces, granted, they're not necessarily square, like, you know, the 8x12 piece you would buy on 123 Stitch, or the 12x18 piece you would buy, but they were very reasonably priced. I was impressed. This is a 9x18 piece of a 28 count called Summer Sky. And as you can see, it's a cloudy fabric. I've always wanted one of those. Again, a kind of an odd shape, so I don't know what I'll stitch on there, but I'll find something. Don't worry about me. I just don't know that I want to show you all of these. This is a cool one called Rock Quarry. There's some picture of this plus dill in there. There's a silk weaver fabric. I've never had a silk weaver fabric before. It's called Everglade, and it's a nice green. And then I got just a blue even weave, a Jobelin. It's in the light blue. But here's the ones that I actually have plans for. As some of you may know, I have this book called Cats of the World in Cross Stitch, and inside there are 4 cat portraits, like bust portraits, for the seasons. And I have fabric that I thought would look, 2 of them would look good on, but I hadn't gotten fabric for the other 2. So while I was at the store, I looked them up real quick on the internet and was like, okay, I think these will work. This is a piece that I already had. I had bought it as an option to do my Storytime sampler on, but I picked the more gray one. This is Heather by Picture This Plus in even weave, Lugana. And I'm going to do the spring pattern, which is a ragdoll cat, on this fabric. I think the bluebells and the blue eyes of the cat will look really, really great on that. And the dark browns. That's a ragdoll cat, by the way. Each of the cats is a different breed in this series. So I already had that piece. Now Summer is the exotic short hair, just like a short-haired Persian. So as you can see, it's a lot of creams and orangey pinks. And so when I was looking through the fabrics, I thought, well, what would that look good on? This one is furthest away from kind of the tone story. Sorry, I didn't like that bump there. The tone story, but I got this, really beautiful green. It's called Pampas, Pampas, P-A-M-P-A-S. It's just a really bright spring green, which, I mean, it's the summer pattern. Oh, I know you're going to be like, serves you right for trying to show fabric off on YouTube, but it's a really, really bright spring green. A lot brighter than that. That looks pale green, but it's a really nice green, and so I thought the kind of the orangey colors would look really nice on that. So that's one of the fabrics that I actually purchased while I was there. And the next one for fall is a fabric that I already had in my stash, which is a piece of 32 count dill. I picture this plus linen, which looks like this. So it's a goldy brown, very variegated with lots of kind of splash marks on there. And this is fall. It's an Abyssinian, and it might blend too much, but I think these are going to be just enough to pop off there, and then the reds will look really nice. So that's what I'm thinking for fall. And then winter is the other season that's there, and this is the other one I didn't have fabric for. It's the Russian blue, and this is what I decided to go with. It's Picture This Plus linen, 32 count in Helix, and it's just a light blue. Very wintry sky to me, and so I think that gray on the cat is dark enough that it'll look nice on there, and the pale greens look pretty. So those were some of the projects that I had in mind while looking at the fabric at the store. And I have one more that is for a specific project. But before I show you that, I just want to mention how lovely the people at the store were. You know, I've heard on these Flosstube videos that a couple of people have gone to a needlework store and have experienced, you know, a little bit of snobbery from the owners, which, because cross-stitch, I'm not going to say it's a dying art necessarily. I don't know enough about it to be able to say that, but I know that it is so specific, and to someone who has their livelihood, you know, wrapped up in a store that caters to this very specific craft, I just feel like you'd want to be as welcoming as possible to anyone who might be able to come in and help support your livelihood. I met 3 ladies who worked at this store, and each one was so interested in what I was stitching, what I was purchasing. I mentioned it was my first time in an L&S, and they were so excited with me, and asked, you know, I told them I was working at the theater nearby, and they were like, oh, what show are you doing? Who are you playing? And it was just such a lovely, pleasant experience. And I know Tommy wants to go back so he can get the cool fabric for his other stitches, so we might be going back, but I just had a fabulous, fabulous time, and I'm not sure I want to say what store it is, only because I didn't get permission to mention it to all of you. But as far as customer satisfaction, I'm extremely satisfied, and I can only give glowing reviews. They had a lot of, they framed pieces too, and when they heard I was a big stitcher, they were kind of excited and said, oh, we just framed this beautiful lady. And the younger girl who worked there was like, oh, can I please show her? And they were like, okay, that's fine. So I got to see somebody's framed mirabilia. I'm not sure who she was, but she's huge. Like Persephone huge. Huge. And they had framed her in just the most beautiful way, with a like satin matte, a pale green and a gold frame, and it was gorgeous. And I'm thinking in the back of my head, oh, I need to work on Emerald Mermaid so that my mirror lady can look as pretty as this one. They're just so nice. I can't get over it. And they were also, you know, I feel like probably some needlework store owners look at male stitchers kind of funny, but they were excited that Tommy was learning to stitch and really interested to hear what his projects were, and I think we both left there having had a wonderful time and just being so excited to go back. We only have 2 weeks left here, so we have to make it happen soon. It might happen tomorrow. We'll see. But I just had a wonderful, wonderful time. I almost forgot. I got real needles! I've been having issues with my 26s that I get at Michael's. The eye of it kind of closes in and and either bends out of shape or closes in, and I have a hard time threading it, and then I even broke one. So I thought I'm going to try these John James and see if they work any better for me. And this is the project I'm really excited about, which is why I waited until kind of more to the end. I have a friend who loves Star Wars, and I saw these patterns and thought of her immediately, because she's also into like skulls and stuff. And I saw these patterns and kind of put them on the back burner, and I really wanted to stitch them on some like cool space fabric. They are sugar skull versions of some of the main characters. So there, of course, you have Darth Vader as a sugar skull. You have C-3PO as a sugar skull. And Stormtrooper, a Stormtrooper as a sugar skull. And I saw these and thought they would look so cool on a dark fabric stitched in a lighter floss. Or like in a variegated floss or something. I wasn't sure what I was going to do. Well, I was searching through the fabrics in all of the tubs and the hand dyes, and I found this. It's a 32 count. Picture this plus in dusk. And I'm going to undo this whole piece because it's quite a beautiful fabric. Look at that. This is looking pretty great on the screen too even. And this part right here is just a lighter, almost like nebula kind of looking space. And so I have enough fabric that I should be able to have, if I do them all, starting in the middle with C-3PO, if I stitch them all in the same one, then I could frame them all together, or I might do them separately. I don't know. I'd like to stitch it as a surprise for my friend, but at the same time, it would be nice to know what she would prefer. So maybe I'll stitch it. I don't know, I have to think about it, because I don't really want like that much space between them, unless I have to, because I'm framing them separately. I'm not sure. But that was the last fabric I got for those Star Wars characters. And rather than, I thought about doing a silk, but it would be very expensive to stitch all 3 of those in silk. So what I ended up doing is I just went to Joann's, because Tommy wanted to kit up his new mage pattern. And I'm that person. I'm so sorry, anyone who went to the Madison Joann's, but I bought all of the B5200. I'm not sure I'll need all this. I'm assuming I will. I don't know. Maybe I'll have a lot of extra, but I didn't want to have run out of it and not be able to get to it. So I'm really excited to start that project, and I'm not sure if I will start that soon. Maybe it will be a Mania start. I don't know. Her birthday's not until October, so I hopefully will have plenty of time to finish them up. And the other thing that I purchased, you saw Tommy's needle minder. Well, I ordered a previous order before that, and I also ordered some to come along with his. So I got, in my first order, the reason I ordered was because of the big purple dragon that you've been seeing around. I had to buy that. Oh my gosh. It's absolutely gorgeous. So pretty. And while I was at it, I got the the chocolate bunny with the green bow. You know which project he's going to go on eventually, and I didn't get it done for Easter this year, is my chocolate bunny sampler. And then I got this really cute, he's called Scaredy Cat. I'm not sure if he's a friend of Hello Kitty's or not, but it looks like he could be. but Julie called him the scaredy cat. So cute. He has a needle on him, of course. I love his little buttons and his big eyes and whiskers. And then this last order I made, I got Poison Ivy from Batman. She's so sassy. Look at that. I actually have dressed up as Poison Ivy before. Perhaps I'll put a picture in. I feel like Brian would like to see that. And then I got the Targaryen house symbol from Game of Thrones. It's a 3-headed dragon. It's not focusing well, I'm so sorry about that. But it was really cool, and I love Game of Thrones. Excited for it to start up again. And then the very last one, and I do want to explain a little bit about this one, because it fits into Peter Pan. Of course it does. And figured while I was here stitching this, while I was here and while I was stitching, I got this adorable blingy acorn. It's just a little guy, but if you don't know the significance of an acorn in Peter Pan, when Peter first comes to the nursery and Wendy wakes up and finds him in the nursery, she thinks he's just so clever and so remarkable, and she's already fallen in love a little bit with him. She says, "Peter, you are so clever. You may give me a kiss." Or no, she says, "I shall give you a kiss. I shall give you a kiss." And she doesn't realize that he doesn't know what a kiss is. He's lived so long in Neverland without a mother, he doesn't know what a kiss is. So he just says, "Oh, thank you." Puts his hand out, and she says, "Oh, you don't know what a kiss is?" It's like, "I'll know when you give it to me. Come on." And so, in order to not offend him, she gives him a thimble. And then he says, "Oh, that's awesome. Now shall I give you a kiss?" She said, "Oh, if you please." And she gets so excited because she's expecting him to give her an actual kiss. But because he thinks a kiss is just like a little thing, a little trifle, he takes an acorn button off of his outfit and gives it to her. And she ends up putting it on a chain around her neck. So it's kind of Wendy's memory and symbol of Peter when she ends up coming back to London. And this is just so pretty and so cute. You can't see it so much on this video, but it is so shiny. It's just gorgeous. I had to put it on my whip right away when I got it because it's so beautiful. I'm obsessed. And I think that might finally be it. I don't know if, I haven't talked for 40 minutes yet, but cumulatively we're definitely past 40 minutes. There's one more thing that I want to show you because I just finished him today. At least I just finished sewing his fur together today. It's just one of my new critters. As you can see, he has 4 arms. 1, 2, 3, 4. And little feet. And a tail. And like all of my other critters, he is posable. So you can move his arms around and spread them out to make him look up or down. Or he can sit down. I just think he's cute. He was actually made / inspired by a Tumblr group called Flash Doll Challenge. And it was originally supposed to be you sit down and make a doll in a day, in 24 hours, and you're given a prompt. And so this prompt involved a traveler meeting a little creature working in his garden. He had 4 arms and fur of differing lengths, which he kind of does with the naked tail here. And he's supposed to be wearing a cardigan, but I have yet to finish making the cardigan. I did not make him in 24 hours. I started him actually before I left for this contract, and ran out of time before I had to move. And then he sat just sculpted, unfinished, until about a week ago when I painted him and put the batting on him, and then just last night I put the ears and all of the fur on him. So I think he's pretty cute. I think he's got a lot of character to him. And they've done about 3 more of the prompts, and maybe I'll do the rest of them. They kind of have become inactive, so I don't know that there'll be any more in the future, but maybe I'll do the other ones just to say said I've done them. But yeah, I think that's it. Now you are caught up on the life of Brittany/Blimey Cat Stitches, and hopefully your curiosity, if you were curious about what I was up to, has been satiated. And I am thinking about the next couple months, because Mania's coming up. I don't know that I'm going to do Mania this year. I did it last year, which was great. It's kind of a, I don't know if I can do this, can I do this? I'm going to do it kind of excitement. But I did it last year. Maybe it would be fun, I've thought about this, is for every Mania project I did not finish, to stitch it on the same day that I did. For example, if I started my epic Pokemon Generation 1 cross-stitch project on one of the days in May, and it'd be fun maybe on that same day to pick it up and put some stitches in it. Because I have all of the dates that I started them each written down, so perhaps I'll do that. I don't know. Maybe I'll look up and see the dates that I did finish the project. I have enough. I could probably do new starts on those days. I just hate to see my WIP pile be growing, even if it's only a start of a few stitches. It makes, if it's not started, then I don't feel pressure from it. But once it is started, I'm kind of like, ooh. It was nice to get my Storytime sampler done. And I really should pick up some of my other things. But it's fine. I say that, but it doesn't stress me out too much. Thanks again for subscribing and liking and commenting. And I'm hoping once I get back to New York and kind of get back into the schedule of things, I'm really hoping to audition a lot when I get back. So I might be busy with that. But all of this is to say I hope to see you again sooner rather than later, as in this video. It was about 2 months ago I did my Flossiversary video, so Flosstubeversary video. So anyway, that's all I have to say. I hope each and every one of you are doing well and celebrating the springtime, and well, if you're in Australia, I guess you're going into autumn. So things are getting colder for you, but things are getting warmer here, and it's exciting. And I also, because it was just yesterday, I do want to wish to those who celebrate Happy Easter. But yeah, until next time, have a wonderful stitchy time, and I love each and every one of you. Goodbye!